Hello there, today is one of those days which I'm going to be making an instructional video, and today I'm going to be making a concoction of ingredients to grow blueberries in, okay? So we're going to make a start, and I've got a wheelbarrow here which is really cool. I've got a spade here, and what we're going to do is put all the ingredients in here, mix them all together, and then grow our blueberries in them and have massive crops. Doesn't that sound amazing? So let's go. First up, some sawdust. Now here is a mixture of sawdust from my logging things that I do, and what we have here is some cherry and some conifer. So away we go, and maybe some other things as well. So that's going to go in there like so, and what we're going to do is just proceed to just break it up a little bit, mix it all up like that, and away we are. There we go. Right, next up we have some ericaceous compost, which is going straight in the wheelbarrow like that. That is ericaceous compost that I did indeed say. And what's going on now is, guess what? 3 guesses. We're going to be giving it a bit of a whisk. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I declare a thumb war. Remember thumb wars? Right, what we do, we just give it a mix, a lovely mix. Isn't that an amazing thing to do? Right, there we go. Right, what is coming next? What have we here? Ah yes, we have some compost that I just happen to have laying around, and that too is going to be going in the mixture. Right, there we go, nice mixture there. This mixture is getting incredibly exciting. Please comment below if you think it indeed is. And what we're going to do now is just proceed to just once again mix it here. So far we've got ericaceous compost. Ericaceous means acid, acidic, growing medium for acid-loving plants. There we go. I've got some sawdust in there, as I stated, largely from conifer and from cherry trees that have indeed been logged, and also just some normal standard multi-purpose compost. So there we go. Mix that up in there like this. Da-bi-ga-di-da. Mix it around a bit. There we go. And this is going to be some ericaceous growing medium. And just for a little bit of luck, what we're going to do is just scatter some ericaceous feed in there. There we go. Right, where we're going. Here we go. We're going to get the spade and just whisk it around a little bit more. Nice mixture. Mixing it all up. Lovely. Mixing stuff in a wheelbarrow is a very cool thing to do because you can mix lots at once. Isn't that amazing? And you can even leave this sort of about ready to use when you need it. And for people who are busy, this is a great way of doing things. So there we go, lovely. Now, what have we got here? Oh, look at this, look! Oh, this is the variety I'm going to be repotting, and this is Spartan. Does it look lovely? Scott Plants Direct. I spoke about these before. Great place to buy the blueberries from. Okay. Now we're going to have a little bit more. We're going to have a little bit more. Oh. A little bit more ericaceous feed here. I'm just going to scatter some more of that. There we go. Right, there we go, so we're down there, and guess what we're going to do now? Another bit more of a mixture like this, and there we go. And what we're going to really do now, just to make it a little bit more cool, is we're going to chuck yet another bucket of some sawdust. Isn't that amazing? Now, there we are, so that's there, and we're going to mix it around again, and mix it up again. Go. Cool. Now one has to be careful with sawdust because it can leach nitrogen out of the soil. So mature sawdust is good, but I'll be using some additional supplementation of sawdust. Sorry, not sawdust, of nitrogen. So there we go. So that's one concoction for growing blueberries with, or growing blueberries in. Doesn't that look absolutely amazing? So let's get the camera and we're going to point it at it and have a look. Now I hope you can see that okay, because I've got this camera on selfie, you see, so that's how I'm doing it. But there you go, you can see my growing medium there, and you can see my blueberries, you know, minus the one down there that I showed you earlier that I'm going to be planting into this. So what's all this about, seriously speaking? It is, I'm going to be fiddling around with different growing mediums for blueberry plants, okay? Some of which I'm going to be using like this, and all being well, I'm going to be getting hold of some composted oak leaves soon, mix that with a bit of sawdust. If I get some, you know, free time that I can budget to this project, I'm going to be going down, I don't know, Costa Coffee or some coffee bar somewhere, and ask if what's the other one? Costa Starbucks, is it? All those joints that keep opening up everywhere. Down there, and maybe pick up some coffee ground for growing in, something like that. But let's carry on with this one, eh? Right, now, the way I'm going to be going about this, I'll show you the blueberries I've got. So I've got variety Elliot there. You can pause the screen, it's probably mirrored or reversed. But Elliot, which happens to be a leading late season blueberry for the last decade. So that sounds pretty good. Late season blueberry, excelente. And Gold Traub, mid-early season. There we go. Have a look at that if one wishes. And then pause a bit closer. There you go. And the last but not least, as you saw earlier, Spartan. Spartan is one of the most attractive, easy to pick and best sweet flavoured blueberries, making this a great flavour at car boots. Early season, right, very large. You get the idea. So what I'm going to be doing with these initially is I'm going to be fiddling around with different size pots for this project, but for this one I'm going to be using these relatively smallish pots here. Now the reason I'm using these is because I have them laying around and I want to use them, but blueberries in themselves are generally not deep rooted, okay, so they can afford a relatively shallow pot, certainly at least while they are this size. So this should be a good way of getting them going. Now best practice would be, you know, if you can use a wooden pot, that would be great, but I don't have one, and at least not that I can use here. And you know, put your drainage stones in the bottom so that if the roots do go down far enough, you know, they don't clog up the drainage holes and the water collects. But otherwise I'm just using these, okay? So the way that I'm going to be going about this is just getting my basic little growing medium like this, look, putting it in the pot there, and you know, doing this sort of thing. And really nice smell with the old sawdust there in here. And of course sawdust, you know, if you can get hold of it, which probably most of you can't easily, but you know, it's a nice way to use it, and it's a bit of a buffer as well, because if you're purchasing ready-made, you know, ericaceous compost, it could get a little bit on the dear side. Of course one can make their own, which I've done before, and I'm currently in the process of, you know, getting into all that again, but you know, can't do everything. So there we go, Spartan. There we go, nice root structure on that. I'm just looking at it, yep, you can see that, lovely. And what I'm going to do is simply proceed to just pull this out like this, lift it out, take it out like that, look, put it in. I'm not going to bother prizing the roots out, okay, because a very experienced and successful, knowledgeable gardener told me, well, probably quite a few years, I don't know, 5 odd years ago now, something like that, that blueberries apparently like tight roots, tight knit roots, okay, so that's why I'm not going to splay them out as I would many other sort of plants. But yes, so I'm expecting this to be pretty good like this, and what I'm going to do is just push that in and put this in like so, like this. Now with regards to this sort of thing, a good idea could be every other week when they are, you know, in the growing season, up until too late in the season. So maybe, you know, from the spring when they've sort of burst their buds up until maybe August, September. Give them an ericaceous liquid feed every other week just to help keep this growing medium full of ericaciousness, beautifulness. So that could be a good thing. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a little mulch of some sawdust, which I'm going to be grabbing from here. And I'm going to be putting this through, putting this on the top of it like that, look. So this is just a way, you know, holding in some of the moisture, because of course blueberries, you know, really do appreciate a nice bit of water during the you know, the growing season. I daily watering ideally, because you know, it's very stressful for the plant if you don't do this. So there we go. So that's one way that I'm doing my blueberries. So yeah, daily watering, and I'm just keeping everything sort of nice and straightforward here. But all being well, I'm gonna, you know, I've got about 20 of these things I've got to pot up. You know about that. So but I'm gonna be fiddling around with concoctions or whatever. I'm gonna have a video record on here of what I've done. But ideally, this would be lovely to do this with things like sawdust, coffee ground, oak tree leaves. Pine needles are brilliant. Pine needles, lovely as they are acidic. So pine needles, coffee ground, sawdust, and composted oak tree leaves. I mean, I'd love to be able to source enough of those to be able to sort of, you know, do something like this in the wheelbarrow, mix it all together. So there we go. So if you've enjoyed that video, or if indeed you haven't, you can say down below as well. But thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate everything, and I'm now going to pot up all these blueberries into lovely, beautiful blueberryness. See you next time, peeps, and remember, they are acidic loving, okay? If you put them in alkaline soil, your blueberries will not work, okay? You must have them in ericaceous growing medium, or your project will fail. See you next time. Oh, and if you like my work, please feel free to like, share and subscribe, and if you indeed wish, you can check me out on Dan_Home Gardens on Instagram. There we go. Three guesses, bonus points to anyone who remembers who did that.